Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the Greek Guitar Build of 2021 episode 2. In this episode we're gonna start by looking at some of the materials that I'm gonna be using for the build. So let's go. Okay, so here we have the neck. It's an African mahogany neck. Looks very nice. The fretboard, an ebony. And we got some walnut stripes, which are gonna be sitting in the body, not on the neck. Here's another fretboard, but it's maple. It's gonna be sitting like this in the body, and then we're gonna have flame maple on the sides. I do not have the top as of making this video, so hopefully it's gonna arrive soon. And then for the body, it's gonna be African mahogany as well. Very nice. Very nice looking wood. So that's it. Let's get to work.
So here we have the walnut stripes that are gonna go down through the body. I'm gonna use them to just check how wide I want my fretboard to be in between. And then I'm just gonna mark the width on the fretboard itself. And I also checked it was square before doing any lines. And obviously I drew a line in between the markings as well. And then I went over to the bandsaw and then just cut it out. So this is a little tip for someone who does not have a jointer. What you can do is that you're using a flat surface. In this case, the piece that I just cut out together with a piece of walnut, and underneath there is the piece that I wanna make flat. And I'm just gonna use my router with a top-loaded ball bearing bit and follow the flat surface to make everything smooth. By doing so, you will get a very nice edge. Just a little tip. And yes, I think it came out very nicely from the routing here. And then it's time for me to cut out the middle part of the body, which has to have the same width as the maple fretboard. And I'm just gonna avoid this little dent here. So what I did was I just drew a line a little bit wider than the fretboard itself, so I have something to remove. And I'm just gonna cut it out on the bandsaw. And then you can see here that I left a little bit of a lip here on both sides, so that I have something to remove with the router. And by using the maple fretboard here as a template, it's gonna give us the exact same size as the fretboard itself. Just like that. And then I'm just gonna flip it over and use a bottom bearing bit instead. Then I had some problems here with this residue that was on the wood. So I just had to remove it. I actually don't know exactly what it is, and I just took a razor blade and removed it. As you can see, the router couldn't really cut that cleanly, so I just had to remove it. And then I found this hole in the body, so I'm just gonna go ahead and fill it to make a better gluing surface. So I'm just gonna be using some chips from the router, because that's what I had laying around. And you can just use your fingers to make it into a finer dust, and it's gonna work really well. And then I'm just gonna be using some super glue, putting it in the hole, taking some of the dust, and just doing it over and over till I'm satisfied. And now you can see how the body is coming together. What I'm gonna be doing now is just remove a bit of the material from the walnut stripes, because they don't have to be that tall. And then it's over to the bandsaw. And as you can see here, I'm leaving a little bit of a gap between the line and the blade. And then it's glow up time. Always funny. And I'm using Tight Bond 3. That's what I have, and I really enjoy it. And I'm just using a piece of cardboard to spread the glue. And I only use glue on one side, because using too much glue is just gonna squeeze out when you clamp it. I just went ahead and jumped forward here. It's just me doing the same thing. So here I'm just grabbing a pair of quick clamps to squeeze the body together. I wish I had better clamps for this kind of stuff. I wish I had some of those bigger ones, but I don't, so what are you gonna do? I'm gonna start by removing most of the glue that's squeezed out here. And then I went ahead and clamped the body down. And this is just me removing all of the clamps. And this is what they're left with. And here is the top. Took some time to get it, but it's a piece of curly maple, flamed curly maple. I'm gonna go ahead and level the edges here because they're not completely flat. Again, using a flat piece of wood. In this case I'm using a piece of plywood that I know is flat. I'm just gonna remove like a millimeter all the way across. I'm gonna go over it a couple of times just to make sure that I removed everything. And then I'm just gonna do the same thing to the other side. And this is what we're left with. Very nice clean edge, just by using a router. And this is a little sneak peek on what the body is gonna look like. And before gluing on the top, I had to remove more of this residue, whatever it is. So I used a razor blade as well as a file here to just clean it up. And I also took a razor blade to remove any glue from the corners. And then I took my vacuum and tried to remove as much dust as possible. Then I'm gonna grab the body template here and just draw around, get an estimate of where the body is gonna be. It's gonna look something like this. And I'm gonna start by gluing up the middle piece of the top. I just want to make sure that I spread the glue everywhere, both on the piece of mahogany as well as the edges of the walnut. And then it should just go right in. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and clamp the top down, or the middle part. And I also put a screw in the middle, and that is basically where the bridge pickup is going to be. And then it's over to the sides, making sure to get a glue everywhere. I'm just gonna be positioning everything here using one of those quick clamps to go across. And here I tried to screw directly into the body. It probably wasn't the greatest idea, so I went ahead and pre-drilled every hole after that. And yes, I'm going to be using screws here to act as clamps. That's why I drew a line around the body, so I know where it would be safe to put in the screws. And I'm just doing the same thing to the other side here. The tip for using screws is actually something that I learned from the guys over at Texas Toast Guitars way back. If you haven't checked them out, go ahead. They're funny guys. And this is what it looks like when it's completely clamped. And once it was dry, I just went ahead and removed all of the clamps. And then I had to remove the screws. Some of them actually broke off here, so I'm just gonna mark them so that I don't saw into a piece of metal. it looks like after removing all the screws. And then I'm just gonna mark a center line down in the middle of the body. And I'm doing the same thing on the opposite side, and nice shot here, nice hand. And we're just using a straight piece of, well, wood in this case to mark the center line. And then I'm just gonna take the template here and line up the center line with the template as well as the body blank here. Making sure that it's nice and straight here. I'm just gonna draw around the body again to get a more accurate size of the body. It's gonna help when I'm gonna cut it out on the bandsaw. I'm just gonna start by removing some bigger chunks of material. And this is sped up a lot, but you just wanna go slow, let the machine do the work. Now we're left with a little bit more of a manageable piece here. Let's cut it out. I'm taking a pretty safe route here. Some people will probably just cut it out in one take, but I don't want to mess this up. So I'm just gonna play it safe. Again, this is sped up a lot. So now when I'm gonna be doing the horns here, just like with the template, it's important to make relief cuts because it's obviously even harder to make this cut using hardwood. gonna do the same thing here with the upper horn. Making some relief cuts and then just going slowly around the curve. Here I'm just doing some final adjustments, removing a little bit of the excess material. That's pretty much a body. And then I'm gonna plane down this area of the body, which is a little bit taller than the rest. Just gonna start doing the walnut stripes. It goes fairly quickly. Now I only have this middle section left here, so I'm just gonna plane it down so that I have a nice and flat surface to put my template for the routing. I also use this plane, which is something that I like to use for carving necks, but it works very well. And after that we're left with a pretty flat surface, and it's just gonna need a little bit of sanding afterwards, but yeah, it works very well. As you can see, the template goes on nice and flat. Once again, I'm gonna mark out the center line. I'm gonna be using the walnut stripes here to help me find the middle. In this case, I'm going to be using a straight piece of maple to draw out the line. And this is the template secured to the body. There might be a little bit too much material in some areas, but I think it's going to be alright. Then I'm just going to start routing, taking small passes. This is one of the best parts about guitar building, and you finally get to see how the body is gonna look. And here I'm just removing the template, and I'm gonna continue to route following the part that's already been routed. After a couple of passes, I'm just gonna switch bit to a bottom loaded bit, and I'm gonna follow the part of the body that has already been finished, or finished routed. This part. And this is the body, fresh off the router. Looks pretty good.
So this is the body. Came out looking the way I wanted it to, which is good. I think it looks pretty cool. Hopefully you do as well. But that is completely up to you, of course. And this is going to be the end of episode number 2. And in the next episode, I'm going to start working on the neck, which is going to be a lot of fun. And I just want to say a big thank you for the amazing support on the last video. I really appreciate it. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and or liking the video. It will really help out. And with that being said, thank you and bye bye.